I'm not going to go into a super long dissertation and get super holy on you. All I'm going to tell you is that if you follow the Bible and the teachings of the Bible, that answer for tenderism would be very simple. That's how I'm going to tell you. Okay. The right thing to do for him would be very simple.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there'd be no issue and question at all about what the right thing to do would. So great. What would be the right thing? The right thing to do would be, doesn't matter where he is and where he received the money, is to go back and share the money with the rest of his employees that made that experience great. Because it wasn't just him, right? Let's be honest. If an amazing experience only had to do with him, then why not fire everybody and just have him as a one-man show, right? You think the owner just wants to like gladly pay all these other 9 people, 10 people, because he's got nothing better to do, Rich? Great, fire all of them and just have tenderism, cook the food, serve the food, clean the bathrooms, clean the tables. Why don't you have him do everything? I think we know why, right?
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So the overall experience to, this influencer wasn't just the food, right? Let's say he walked in and he waited forever. And let's say that he finally got in and ordered his food and the order took forever because he's trying to cook and take orders at the same time. And let's say that he finally got the order in and it took him 15, 20 minutes to get the order. And let's say that it took this influencer 2.5 hours to get his food because you know what? He is cooking the food, serving the food. Oh, and the bathrooms are dirty. So you have to clean the bathrooms in between and you have to see him go clean the bathrooms in between him touching your food, by the way. Okay? So let's say it took him forever to get the order in. It took him forever to make the food. And let's say it took him forever for him to get the food. And let's say the food was still delicious. Do you think he would rate that place a good place? Probably not. Yeah. Probably not. Come on, man. Let's be real, dude. He wouldn't.
Yeah. The bathroom part alone would.
Rich, he would atomic bomb that business, man.
Yeah.
So is it really just him providing that experience? Come on, man.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so when I give you the rest of that context, all of a sudden the answer becomes very simple, bro. Very simple. And again, right? There's morally right and legally right. I tell people that all the time. I had a client ask me one time. This was a $3 million account that we closed recently. $3 million account for one of the companies, right? And I had the client ask me, like, hey, I see your software. I see this. I see that. You obviously have a better product and you have great reviews and data, all of those things, right? And he says, like, truthfully, like, what makes you different? Like, truthfully, what sets you apart? And my answer, literally, because they're a massive company, right? Like, they're a massive company. Like, they're very successful. And I said, truthfully, I think our service is top notch. I'm actually confident in saying that our service is top notch and our software is top notch and all of those things are all of those things are true. I said, but more than anything else, to be honest with you, not that those things aren't important, they are important. I said, but if you really want me to be honest with you, really, really what sets us apart? He says, yes. I said, in our line of work and in our line of business, in dealing with businesses of your capacity, there's going to come a point in time where there's going to be a fork in the road over something, no matter what it is. There is legally right and there is morally right. I understand contracts are needed. I understand agreements are needed. I understand legalities matter. I understand all of that. What sets us apart is that we care more about the morally right than we care about the legally right. Our North Star is non-negotiable. I don't need a contract to tell me what is morally right and morally wrong. I know what is morally right and morally wrong. And whatever that morality is and that North Star is non-negotiable. I don't care if the contract doesn't say it. If it's morally the right thing to do, guess what we're going to do? We're going to morally do the right thing. The end. I don't care what the contracts are needed, but I don't care what it. You know what the owner told me? He's like, that's the first time anyone's ever said something like. He's like, we got a deal. Shook my hand, done deal. $3 million, right? So my point is for this tenderizer or whatever his name is, right? Tendernism, right?
Yeah.
There's legally right and there's morally right. What is legally right? Legally right, he gave him the money outside of the business. He's on his own. He could take the $4,000, never tell anybody, and nobody knows other than him. No harm, no foul. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. He didn't hurt anybody. None of the other employees know. And really, what they don't know, don't hurt them. Right? Correct? He knows. He knows. And whatever moral compass and whatever God he believes in knows. And that's all. That's what matters, Rich. Right? That's what matters. Right? It's like, if that doesn't matter, Rich, then shit, man. Like, I can go cheat on my wife without her knowing about it. And as long as I don't tell her about it, then I'm fine. I know that, Rich. That's my point, though, right? then there's nothing wrong with it. She doesn't know, so she not heard about it, so we're good. Mm-hmm. No, bro. No, it doesn't work that way. There's morally right and legally right. So what is the legally right thing? He can keep the money and never tell anybody. What is morally right? And you know the answer here. Yeah. What is morally right? Distributing it to everybody, because I just gave you the scenario. If we don't need anyone else to provide an amazing service, then just fire everybody and have him do everything himself. Why don't we do that? You don't think the business owner wants to save money? Why don't we do that then? Because you can't. Because you can't.
Like I said, I do think tenderism would be the kind of person. I think he is, at least what he presents outwardly. Sure. That he would distribute.
Sure. That is certainly possible. I don't want to say he wouldn't, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure the owner would. I can't say for sure anybody would, right? Mm-hmm. But just from the information I have dealing with him directly, like having actual like face-to-face conversations with the guy, like he's a cool dude. Yeah. Like he doesn't treat anybody poorly. Like no one's ever. Everyone loves like when he comes to talk to him and all that kind of stuff. And like even like the servers and stuff are all cool. Like they have a pretty like hefty menu, and if you ask questions, they're kind enough to answer them. I don't know how it is now with them like having 20,000 people come in. Sure. But the times that I was there, like everyone's cool. There's no bad service there. If there was bad service, it was probably it's completely situational. Yeah.
Like I'll give you a scenario. So we own the postal shop, right? One of the businesses, the postal shop, right? One of our employees there, Cameron, fantastic, bro. Just this dude is so lovable, bro. It's ridiculous, bro. He is so gosh darn lovable. Like I love this guy. Anyways, somebody came in one day, and I happened to be there. I'm not there tons, obviously, but I happened to be there. And a customer came in and said, "Hey, man, is your employee, is Cameron here?" And I'm like, "No, he's not here right now." And Alex was there, but I was babysitting the shop at the time, ironically, right? And anyways, the person says, "Oh, man, I missed him." And I'm like, "Why, what's up?" She's like, "Are you the owner?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm the owner." She's like, "Oh, my God, do you have some time?" I said, "Of course I have some time. Talk to me. What's up?" And anyways, she's like, "Look, I just wanted to tell you that Cameron is amazing. Every time I come in, he helps me with all my stuff. He goes outside, carries the stuff out of her car like an elderly lady, right?" And I'm like, "That is so awesome." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "Just, it's always nice to hear that. Obviously, I'll make sure that I relay the message, but I just want you to know that we know how awesome he's fantastic." She's like, "Well, listen, I don't know if I should or shouldn't." I'm like, "Why? What's going on?" She's like, "Look," she's like, "Well, since you're the owner, like, I don't, I want to make sure, like," she's like, "I brought him a gift." She brought him a gift card, like $25 or something, a Visa gift card, just for him helping me so much. She's like, "Look, do I just bring it back to him? Like, do I give it to you? Like, how does that work?" I said, "Oh, man, that's so kind of you." I said, you don't have to do that." She's like, no, I want to. I said, "Are you sure?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said, "No, you can go ahead and give it to me. I'll make sure, just so you know, we won't keep it for the business. I'll make sure I directly hand it to him." She's like, "You will?" I said, "Yes." She's like, "Oh, so you don't keep it like the business?" I said, "No." I said, I'll make sure that he gets it." But again, the difference there is, I'm going to go back to the same scenario I talked about earlier with the Five Guys. I went to the manager and said, "Hey, I would like to tip him directly." She came to me as the owner and said, "Hey, this is what I want to do." And we did. We took the gift card, and when he came in that night, I had Alex, the manager, obviously just give him the gift card. We didn't keep it. I'm not interested in keeping stuff like that. You know what I mean? So anyways, I know there's some caveats there. I know there's some gray area there, but
what dollar amount? Let's just say, I don't know what Visa goes up to. I think it's like 500. Let's
500.
Just say it's unlimited. Mm-hmm. At what number amount do you say, okay, well, this is a product of, I know NPC's 2 people, 3 people?
2 people.
2 people? Mm-hmm. So at what point does part of that, like, or should part of that come back, like, is NPC an example of something that, or of a business where, like, if it was 4,000, if it was 10,000, and this lady just happens to be a fucking billionaire, she's like, "I love this kid for helping me. I want to give him 10 grand. Like, is NPC the type of place where it's like, well, he wouldn't have been able to give you that service if it wasn't for
the business in itself, sure,
right? Yeah. But if the business didn't have him, the money wouldn't have come in anyway.
Sure.
So it's like, is that I don't know. I was just like, is there a dollar amount where it's like, well, we take 15% of the tip and then give the rest. Because that's still, that's like percent.
Whatever.
$100 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like, is that I don't even know what my question is.
I know what your question is. The question is, at what amount would, and I think you're asking me the question directly for me as a business owner of that business. At what amount would I step in and be like, "Hey, we can't give him all of that"? right? We got to take a percentage of that. Okay, great. Here would be my concern. When you say something like that, here is where my brain goes. And maybe this is only because I have 20 years of business experiences and everything imaginable that you could possibly think would never happen has happened, right? Both good and bad. Things that I could never possibly say that, oh, that's never, something that bad is never going to happen, or that's never going to come back and be blowback on me. It's happened, Rich, right? Unfortunately. Does that make sense? Yeah. And because of that, I've learned some things. Here's what would be my concern. It's not that I want to keep a percentage of any of it, even if it's 10 G's. It's that the more money that person gives freely, the more responsibility lands on the business at that point, right? There's a very big difference. I think we can agree. There's a very big difference between someone coming to want to give him $25 and someone wanting to give him $10,000. Okay, great. If someone's going to give him $10,000, I don't care how good they are, Rich. Do you think that at that point it puts that person in a position that gave the 10 grand to have some sort of expectation, right? Do you think the expectation is only on him, or do you think the expectation is on him and the business? Because if it wasn't on the business at all, then go hire him as a freelancer, right? Yeah. Go hire him as a freelancer to go ship stuff for you. But he's not. How are you going to do that? Right. So what I'm saying is that the more money you give, the higher the expectation is. And unfortunately, because he's not a freelancer, that expectation and the burden of expectation now, to be honest with you, whether she wants to admit it or not, or he wants to admit it or not, there's a burden of expectation now, not only on him, there's a burden of expectation on the business. And I don't know if anyone can argue that with me. And that would be my concern.
So would it be like a refusal of acceptance of the...
In that particular scenario, I would much rather, I hate to say this, but I would much rather say, hey, I'm just going to refuse it altogether. I know it hurts, but I much rather in that particular scenario, refuse it altogether. Like, hey, we appreciate that. And that is an awesome gesture. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. We cannot take that large of an amount as much as we want to. And if that person still insisted, here's what I would do if they insisted. Hey, if you insist, I will only do it under one condition. What is that? We partner with a local charity that helps kids do XYZ. And again, you know about the charity that we were a part of. I would much rather give that. If it's okay with you, I will take it with the understanding that we will give 100% of those proceeds to the charity to help out the kids. Because now, if really what she wants to do is make us feel appreciated that we are able to do what we do and validate the fact of service that we give her, if that's really what her outcome is, right? Then there should be no argument that we chose to give that money to somewhere where we know it's going to be better served than it is in our pockets. Does that make sense? So that right there should be a win-win situation for everybody, should it not? If that really is what she's trying to achieve, then everybody wins. You still gave the 10 grand, and then we elected to take your money and really put it in good use. Does that make sense? Right? So that would be my answer. There's a burden of responsibility on the business when it's not $25, when it's $10,000. And that burden of responsibility isn't just on him anymore. When someone gives that kind of money, Rich, it's on the business. That would be my answer.